My name is Tom Orloff, and I'm the District Attorney of Alameda County. And as you may know, that yesterday a complaint was filed with the Alameda County Superior Court charging former BART officer Johannes Meserly with the murder of Oscar Grant III. Mr. Meserly was arrested yesterday evening in Douglas County, Nevada. He appeared in court in Douglas County this morning at 9:15 and waived extradition and be transported back to Alameda County today. I want to thank the BART Police Department for the investigation they conducted, which facilitated my ability to be able to file this complaint. I also want to thank the Oakland Police Department for the assistance it provided, and I also want to thank the members of my staff that have been working on this since this tragedy occurred on January 1st. I know there'll be a number of questions. I have certain constraints in what I can answer, but I will answer those questions I can. I'm bound by the California Rules of Professional Conduct, and I should not say anything that could influence the public in terms of the outcome of this case, but I'll answer whatever questions I can, and I see Rita's hand is up already.
Tom, what precipitated this yesterday after you had said it might be next week, and what was the concern here, and why murder? Is it first, second, or are you keeping
Okay, two questions. The first one is, some of you may recall, last Thursday I gave a timetable of 2 weeks to wrap this up. At that time, I very much hoped to have it wrapped up before this weekend, but I didn't want to be in the situation. I gave the outside timetable. I didn't want to be in a position where I'd have to come again and say, well, I was wrong, I need another week. So I gave a very conservative estimate when I gave that, fully believing we could get it done sooner, and we got it done sooner and as soon as we could. With concerning first or second degree murder, this gets a little bit technical, but we file a complaint charging an individual with murder. The complaint doesn't specify the degree. It merely charges murder. As the case proceeds down the line, in a normal, I'm talking about a normal case now, in a hypothetical kind of sense, it would go to a preliminary hearing, and then a judge would then determine whether or not there was sufficient evidence for that case to go to trial. The judge would, if he held it to answer for murder, would just hold it to answer for generic murder without specifying a degree. When the case eventually went to trial, the prosecution, the DA's office, would present its case. The defense would then have the option of presenting its case, and if there was any mitigation presented during the trial, it's quite likely that the court would instruct not only the jury to consider not only murder, but also the possibility of manslaughter convictions, as well, of course, of acquittal. So all those options down the line would probably come into play.
But that would mean intent, malice. Could you explain to us in some way that people can understand of why you file murder and not manslaughter charges?
Murder charges were filed because at this point, what I feel the evidence indicates is an unlawful killing done by an intentional act, and from the evidence we have, there's nothing that would mitigate that to something lower than a murder. That doesn't mean that evidence might develop in the future, that particularly as it develops at trial. But at this point, when you have a homicide that is intentional and there's no mitigation, it's more or less presumed to be a second-degree murder.
Did any of his fellow officers...
That charge means that you don't think that it was an accident?
I'm not going to... What I think at this point, what the evidence that I have indicates that the murder charge was the appropriate charge given the state of the evidence.
Some have called for other charges against other officers. Do you have any, have you ruled that out as far as?
I haven't ruled anything out, but I'm not actively pursuing that.
Did OPD recommend charges in this case?
No one recommended charges.
Did the timing of the arrest evidence be due with today's being protest?
No, except obviously I'm not oblivious to that, and what it really did do, not so much with today's protest, because that developed later, but because of the intense public interest, I think more resources were put into wrapping this up than would be put in other situations. So it was, in that sense, by putting additional resources in, expedited. And obviously I'm not unaware of some of the fallout in the community, and to whatever extent this mitigates it, I don't know. I have to make the professional judgment on the criminal case, and that's what I did.
He didn't make a statement.
Interviewing him, or your investigators, will investigate trying to interview him, or would he go directly to Santa Maria?
I think there's been a big misunderstanding on that. He has a lawyer. His lawyer has invoked his constitutional right to remain silent. So in terms of an interview at this point in time, our hands are tied.
And so would he go directly, you said Alameda County, but is he going to Santa Rita, is what we've heard, or is he coming to downtown?
I don't believe he'll be coming to downtown. Those are all security issues that work out with the Sheriff's Department.
Tom, the fact that he didn't make any statement, did that make your decision more difficult? And if so, how?
It made it more difficult in the sense of his statement could or could not have given me some insight into his thought process, and I didn't have that insight. I think, when you basically have a situation of an unlawful, intentional killing, one individual by another, and that's all you know, and that's really all we know in this case, then that's a murder. What evidence develops as we go down the line, will develop, and eventually it'll be 12 members of the community, in all likelihood, will be the ones that decide where this may fall within the range I talked to you about.
How many people were you interviewing on? You just used the word intentional. Does that sort of...
I think I just used that word, and it means whatever it means.
How many people did you interview in this process?
Between BART and Oakland and us, I can't give you an exact number, but it's at least 30.
Did BART ever provide you any video surveillance?
Yes, as a matter of fact, BART obtained a video from an individual the morning that it occurred, which is very valuable.
But nothing that was produced from BART security cameras?
There's nothing on BART security cameras really helpful directly to the events.
What do you think?
It's a couple of hours before the protest or the demonstration coming up tonight. Do you have a message for the community you want to give?
Now, I'm going to philosophize a little bit. I should resist it, but I'm not going to. I understand that there's a great deal of emotion in the community, and I understand that this situation raises a lot of significant social issues in our community. I would hope that people would have the respect for the system in which I've worked for 39 years and would watch and would make their judgments based on how the system functions and let the criminal justice system play this out. In terms of those that want to protest on the broader civil issues, I think the peaceful protest can be a very healthy thing. I'm not going to go any further than that. I think the police department may be available later on to talk to you about more specifics in this particular situation.
If you said you've got it.